Hi, my name is John, and today I'm going to be telling you about my history and how I got started with Pokemon. So, when I first started with Pokemon, it was back in 2004, and this is the game that I played, and I actually still have it. I have it on Eliminator. Uh, I also have this one too. These were my favorite games back then. Of course, all I had was a Game Boy Advance back then, so it's not like it is now. Didn't have any internet or anything. Eventually, I did find out that there was a 3DS coming out in GameStop. I stopped, I looked at it, didn't want it. I don't like double screens. I don't like a screen on the bottom and a screen on the top. That's just silly, and I don't like it. It started messing with my eyes, so I never got it. So I always loved Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green, and I still do to this day. Unfortunately, now the only way to get certain things in this game is by cheating. So you are not able to do the events or anything like you could before. When the event was first done, and I believe you had to go to the events locally in order to even get them. Because you had to have a wireless adapter, but it wasn't internet adapter. It was just an adapter to basically connect to other players, and that's the only way you could do it back then when I played that game. Eventually, it came on the phone. I had to. It was basically on the phone, on the Android version, and I got to play it again. Cause I had long not had my Game Boy Advanced. They eventually came out with a Game Boy. I think it was a SP or something. Something with the light on it. Uh, and I had that too, but I ended up getting rid of that. Those things. Eventually, I was able to go ahead and uh, get it on the phone, and I got it on the phone perfectly. So I got it on the phone perfectly fine. Uh, and for some strange reason, I ended up reformatting my phone one day, and I lost it. So eventually I was able to get it on the computer and actually play it, and it had a built-in Game Shark and all of that, and so that was kind of fun. But eventually I grew tired of it, and so I went on the internet and I went on the internet and I looked for the game. Of course, I didn't put the Sword and Shield because I didn't know about it. All I put was what was in this game, and at the time it was just Sword and Shield. They didn't have the DLC or anything, but they had just announced it that they were making one. Of course, I didn't know that. I think I played it about 9 times back to back before I ended up getting the internet on there. And when I got the internet on there, I discovered the raids and I could go online and do them. And it was pretty hard. It was extremely hard back then. It was, quite difficult. Eventually I was able to. I got Shield as well with the DLC, so I had them both. Eventually, a friend of mine introduced me to. He was on a Facebook group, and he introduced me to a bot called Mizuki TV on Twitch, and that's how I started using bots. And eventually, I had basically, I was like, no, I won't. I'm not gonna get a god egg, to do giveaways. I could just use the bot because I had priority, because I was a paying customer. I paid, I think, $5 a month. Well, eventually, I did get a god egg. And I was able to just Gen 1 Pokemon, get how I wanted, and basically did so many giveaways. And it was pretty good. There was only one problem with that. I was eventually getting a little tired of it because I had to do it manually all the time. And so I did look for an automated bot, but my Switch wasn't hackable. So eventually I met a guy named Joseph, and Joseph taught me everything. He taught me everything there was to know about bots and all of that, and it was pretty good. It was extremely good. Uh, didn't really have any issues or any of that, so we went ahead and ordered my first Switch. Now, when I got my first Switch, everything was fine with the Switch. There was only one little problem. The Switch was already hacked. So when we took it out of hack mode and basically, went to put it back into load it up through Hokate, it wouldn't load. I think Joseph sat on the phone with me for almost 17 hours. Yeah, it was a long time. 17 hours. I could not believe it. That was a long time. So eventually I ended up going ahead and sending it back after we did all our testing, and only one app would load. I think it was Team App. I don't know, it was something. I eventually found out that there was a mod chip installed, which was weird because it said it was hackable. But whatever this guy did to it, he put something on it, and it wouldn't even go online. So that's somebody who truly has hacked and modified the Switch and prevented it from ever going online again. Without the backup, there's nothing you could do. So that was a big problem. That was a big, big problem. So I ended up. He blocked me, where I couldn't send it back. But because I paid him through PayPal, you cannot legally sell somebody a hacked Switch where it is hacked without being able to go on the internet, and it was never disclosed. He had no proof that he disclosed it, and I never heard him tell me that it was already hacked. I think the question is, I asked him, can it be hacked? He said, yes, it can. So I just took his word for it. But, eventually I got my money back. Trust me, it was $400 here. So what I ended up doing was I ended up buying me another one, except this time I asked the three questions. It's a 3-question rule I have. Is it currently hacked? Can it go online? Is it banned? On the last question, I should hear a no. On can it go online, I should hear a yes. Is it currently hacked? I should hear a no. So, the first and the last question should be a no. Is it banned? Is it currently hacked? Because if it's currently hacked, you don't know what that person did. So when you want to sell a Switch that you've had hacked before, you have to basically restore it back to the way it was. You gotta delete everything and basically put it back in stock mode and basically get rid of anything you had on there, any kind of settings. You gotta. That's what you're supposed to do when you sell it to somebody else, so they can basically do everything that they want to do. But again, hacking a Switch is not bad. It's what you do on it. And in order to run bots, you need two particular files. You need this file right here. You need that file, and you need this file. Now you just can't put these files on there and then just hack your Switch. It has to be version 1, which is generation 1 Switch, and it has there's also a serial number, and there's actually a website. And see, you'll put your serial number. You see, this has already got X day. I must have clicked on that. So you'll just put, this is the first 4 digits of it, and so this is exactly what it has to be. So if your serial number definitely starts with that, obviously it's not hacked. It's not hacked. So yeah, low serial number is the best way to go. You want to find any kind of switch that you find with XAW1000 is 100% not patched. At least as long as it hasn't been sent back to Nintendo. Because if you send it back to Nintendo for repairs, always 9 times out of 10 they're gonna go ahead and patch that up to prevent you from trying to do that. Because they know that's what people do. So the only way to actually modify a switch on the version 2 or even on the newest one, I think it's the OLED. Yeah. It's got a bigger screen and stuff, but those aren't hackable. So that's probably why we don't have it. So unfortunately, you can only hack the version 1 switches. Because if you try to go into your switch without the you won't be able to go into Live Hex and connect straight to it because it's going to say it refused it. And that's because it doesn't have custom firmware on it. So that's why. But that's how I got started. I got one Switch. After I got my money back, I turned around and bought another one, except this one was good. Then I got another one for BDSP. Then I got another one for PLA. Then I got another one for SV. Then I got a second one for SV. And then I got an extra one. And that extra one I usually put on Sword and Shield, or I put it on SV or BDSP or PLA, whichever bot becomes really, really busy. If they're not, any of them are busy, then I don't put that extra one on. But I have that extra one specifically for that reason and that reason only. So that's the way I have. That's how I got started with my history of Pokemon. But it all started with Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red version, which I love to death. I still love those games. I actually still have them. Yeah, see, I actually still have them. So I still have these games. And back then you could actually cheat. They even had a code to make all the Pokemon shiny, no matter where you ran into them. Obviously you can't do that anymore. So I do miss it. I do miss when I first got started. It was a lot more funner back then. There was a lot more activity back then. Nowadays, it's just not that much activity going on. Especially with the Pokemon SV, a lot of people didn't like it. They thought it was pretty bad. I had way too many bugs, performance issues. And then the Pokemon Home that was supposed to come out, and then they decided to cancel and gave no reason behind it. That's also not very good. So I can understand that, but I'm with you guys. That's why I wanted to share my little history a little bit with a little video, so that way you guys could understand where I come from. So I wish y'all the best, and y'all can always come and find me on my server on the general chat. I will put the link to the Discord server as well as the link to my Facebook group in there. Till then, I will see y'all later.